The practice of guidance and counseling is deeply informed by a rich tapestry of philosophical inquiries into human existence, psychological understandings of mind and behavior, and sociological analyses of societal structures and influences. A comprehensive grasp of these foundational perspectives is essential for counselors to develop ethical, effective, and context-sensitive interventions. Philosophical perspective. Philosophy provides the bedrock for understanding human nature, purpose, and the ethical principles that guide the counseling profession. Different eras and movements have contributed distinct views on what it means to be human and how individuals should navigate their existence. Ancient Greece, Greek philosophy laid the groundwork for Western thought, emphasizing reason, virtue, and the pursuit of eudaimonia, flourishing, or well-being. Thinkers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle explored the nature of the soul, the importance of self-knowledge, and the role of ethics in a well-lived life, for example. Plato c. 380 BCE on 1992-2. Aristotle c. 350 BCE on 1985. For counseling, this period highlights the importance of introspection, moral reasoning, and the pursuit of an optimal human existence. Medieval age of an optimal human existence. Medieval age of an optimal human existence. Medieval age integrated classical philosophy with Christian doctrines. The medieval age integrated classical philosophy with Christian doctrines. The understanding of human beings was often framed within a divine plan, emphasizing faith, salvation, and the concept of a soul created in God's image. For example, Augustine c. 397 CE on 1991, Aquinas c. 1270 CE on 1947. While less directly influencing modern secular counseling, this period underscored the spiritual dimension of human experience and the search for meaning beyond the material. Renaissance Enlightenment. This period marked a significant shift back towards human reason, individualism, and scientific inquiry. The focus moved from divine authority to human potential, progress, and the establishment of universal laws, for example, Descartes, 1637-1998, Locke, 1689-1989. Enlightenment thinkers promoted autonomy, rationality, and the belief in human perfectibility, which laid philosophical groundwork for self-direction and personal growth central to many counseling approaches. Modern philosophy rationalism. Proponents like René Descartes emphasized the role of reason as the primary source of knowledge, advocating for clear and distinct ideas as the foundation for understanding reality. Descartes, 1637-1998. In counseling, a rationalist perspective might inform approaches that prioritize logical thought, critical analysis, and the resolution of cognitive inconsistencies. Empiricism. Contrasting rationalism, empiricism, championed by thinkers such as John Locke, George Berkeley, and David Hume, asserted that all knowledge is derived from sensory experience. Locke, 1689-1989. Hume, 1739-2007. This perspective influenced the development of scientific psychology and behavioral approaches in counseling, stressing observable data. Scientific psychology and behavioral approaches in counseling, stressing observable data. Experience-based learning, and the modification of behavior through environmental interaction. Contemporary philosophy existentialism. This philosophy, with key figures like Søren Kierkegaard, Jean-Paul Sartre, and Albert Camus, emphasizes individual freedom, responsibility, and the search for meaning in a world often perceived as absurd or without inherent purpose. Sartre, 1946-2007. Yellowm, 1980. In counseling, existentialism encourages clients to confront anxiety, make authentic choices, and take ownership of their lives, focusing on themes like death, freedom, isolation, and meaninglessness. Corey, 2017. Phenomenology. Closely related to existentialism, phenomenology, developed by Edmund Husserl and Martin Heidegger, focuses on the direct investigation and description of phenomena as they are experienced consciously. Without theoretical assumptions. Husserl, 1900-2001. In counseling, a phenomenological approach prioritizes understanding the client's unique subjective experience and lived world, emphasizing empathy and a non-judgmental, Stands to genuinely apprehend the client's perspective. Rogers, 1951. Pragmatism. Originating from American philosophers like Charles Sanders Peirce, William James, and John Dewey, pragmatism emphasizes practical consequences, utility, and the test of ideas and experience. Dewey, 1916. For counseling, pragmatism suggests that the value of interventions lies in their effectiveness in achieving desired outcomes and promoting adaptation. It fosters an approach that is results-oriented, flexible, and responsive to the client's real-world challenges. Realism. Philosophical realism asserts that there is an objective reality that exists independently of our minds and perceptions. In counseling, a realist perspective might inform approaches that focus on helping clients perceive reality accurately, challenge distorted views, and adapt to external circumstances effectively. This can be seen in cognitive behavioral approaches that aim to correct maladaptive thought patterns to align more closely with objective reality. Beck, 1976. Constructivism. In contrast to realism, constructivism posits that reality is largely or entirely a product of our subjective interpretations and constructions. Gergen, 1985. Kelly, 1955. This perspective suggests that individuals create their own meanings and narratives about their experiences. Counseling approaches influenced by constructivism, such as narrative therapy or solution-focused brief therapy, empower clients to reconstruct their life stories in more empowering ways and create new, more functional meanings for their experiences. Psychological perspective. Psychology provides the scientific understanding of human behavior, cognition, and emotion, laying the empirical and theoretical groundwork for counseling interventions. Structuralism. Pioneered by Wilhelm Wundt and Edward Titchener, structuralism focused on breaking down mental processes into their most basic elements through introspection. Wundt, 1874-1904. While primarily historical, its emphasis on systematic observation laid early groundwork for psychological inquiry. Functionalism. Led by William James, functionalism shifted the focus from the structure of the mind to its purpose and function in adapting to the environment. James, 1891-1950. This school influenced the development of applied psychology and the study of individual differences, which are central to understanding client functioning. Gestalt. Originating from German psychologists like Max Wertheimer, Kurt Koffka, and Wolfgang Köhler, Gestalt psychology emphasizes that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, focusing on perception, organization, and the tendency to form meaningful wholes, pearls. Hefferline and Goodman, 1951. In counseling, Gestalt therapy focuses on present experience, awareness, and integrating fragmented aspects of the self, often using experiential techniques. Psychoanalytic. Founded by Sigmund Freud, psychoanalytic theory emphasizes the influence of unconscious drives, early childhood experiences. Influence psychoanalytic drive. Early childhood experiences and unresolved conflicts of personality. Freud, 1950. This school profoundly impacted psychotherapy, introducing concepts like the unconscious defense mechanisms, transference, and the importance of past experiences shaping present. Skinner focused exclusively on observable behavior, asserting that conditioning, Skinner, 1953. Behavioral counseling applies principles of classical and operant conditioning to modify maladaptive behaviors and teach new adaptive responses through techniques like systematic desensitization, reinforcement, and exposure therapy. Cognitive emerged in contrast to behaviorism, with key figures like Aaron Beck and Albert Ellis emphasizing the role of thoughts, beliefs, and cognitive processes in shaping emotions and behaviors. Beck, 1976. Ellis, 1962. Cognitive therapy and rational emotive behavior therapy. Therapy. Help clients identify, challenge, and restructure irrational or distorted thinking patterns that contribute to psychological distress. Humanistic. Championed by Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow, humanistic psychology emphasizes the inherent goodness of individuals, their potential for growth, and the drive towards self-actualization. Rogers, 1951. Maslow, 1954. Client-centered therapy, a core humanistic approach, focuses on providing a genuine, empathic, and unconditionally accepting environment to foster client self-discovery and growth. Contemporary psychology is characterized by integration and specialization. Many current approaches blend elements from different historical schools such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which integrates cognitive and behavioral principles. Other contemporary approaches include positive psychology, focuses on strengths, virtues, and optimal human functioning rather than solely on pathology. Seligman and Csikszentmihalyi. 2000. It informs counseling by promoting resilience, well-being, and identifying client resources. Multicultural and feminist therapies address the impact of social and cultural contexts, power dynamics, and societal oppression on mental health, advocating for culturally sensitive and socially just practices. Su et al. 2019. Brown, 2010. Neuroscience-informed approaches integrate understanding of brain function and neurobiology into therapeutic practice, recognizing the biological underpinnings of mental health issues. Siegel, 2010. Mindfulness-based approaches draw on ancient contemplative traditions, emphasizing present moment awareness and non-judgmental acceptance to reduce stress and improve emotional regulation. Kabat-Zinn, 1990. Sociological perspective. Sociology provides crucial insights into how social structures, cultural norms, and broader societal forces shape individual experiences, behaviors, and well-being. Understanding these macro-level influences is vital for comprehensive counseling. Family. The family is a primary social institution that profoundly impacts individual development, values, and coping mechanisms. Family structure, communication patterns, and dynamics can contribute to or alleviate psychological distress. Bowen, 1978. Counselors often consider family systems in their assessments and interventions. Schools, education. Educational institutions serve as critical agents of socialization, shaping beliefs, skills, and social identities. Schools can be sources of support or stress, influencing academic achievement, self-esteem, and social development. Coleman et al., 1966. Guidance counselors are directly embedded within the structure to support student well-being and academic success. Community. The local community provides a context for individual life, offering resources, social networks, and cultural norms that impact well-being. Factors like community safety, economic opportunities, and access to services significantly influence mental health outcomes. Bronfenbrenner, 1979. Counselors often connect clients to community resources. Church. Religious and spiritual institutions provide social support, moral guidance, and a sense of belonging for many individuals. For some, religious beliefs are a core part of their identity and coping strategies, influencing their approach to life's challenges. Argument, 1997. Counselors need to be sensitive to clients' spiritual dimensions. Governmental policies, laws, and social welfare programs have widespread impacts on individuals and communities, affecting access to healthcare, employment, housing, and social justice. Understanding these broader structural influences helps counselors advocate for clients and address systemic barriers. Ehrenreich and Piven, 1984. Theoretical Perspectives in Sociology, Chaos Theory. While more directly applied in physics and mathematics, in sociology, chaos theory. While more directly applied in physics and mathematics, in sociology, chaos theory, unpredictable and nonlinear dynamics. Get them and contain. Just complex social. Just complex sources. Gary says just Hillary. This perspective can help counselors appreciate the complexity and interconnectedness of client issues, recognizing that simple solutions may not always suffice in complex personal and social systems. Social order theory, functionalism. This perspective, rooted in the work of Emile Durkheim and Talcott Parsons, views society as a complex system whose parts work together to promote solidarity and stability. Durkheim, 1897-1951. Parsons, 1951. It emphasizes social norms, shared values, and institutions that maintain equilibrium. In counseling, this lens might help identify how a client's struggles relate to a disruption in their social roles or integration into societal structures. Consensus theory, a subset of functionalism. Consensus theory, a subset of functionalism. Consensus theory posits that society operates based on a broad agreement among its members on values, norms, rules, and institutions. Parsons, 1951. When consensus breaks down, social problems or individual distress may arise. For counselors, understanding this perspective helps to consider how divergences from societal norms or expectations might contribute to client issues. Conflict theory. Originating from Karl Marx, conflict theory views society as an arena of inequality that generates conflict and change. Marx, 1867-1967. It emphasizes power struggles, resource allocation, and how dominant groups maintain control over subordinate ones. In counseling, conflict theory helps to understand how issues of oppression, discrimination, and social injustice contribute to client mental health challenges, particularly for marginalized populations, for example. Critical race theory, feminist theory. Ecological theory. Developed by Yuri Bronfenbrenner, ecological systems theory emphasizes that human development and behavior are influenced by multiple interacting environmental systems, from the immediate microsystem, for example, family, to the broader macrosystem, for example, culture, laws. Bronfenbrenner, 1979. This theory is highly influential in counseling, urging practitioners to consider the individual within their nested environments, recognizing that problems are rarely isolated to the person but are shaped by their social and physical contexts.